Welcome, another time. Glad to see everybody out tonight. Our speaker tonight will be Kenneth Grizzell from Grizzell Park. Glad that he come and brought some visitors with him, including my two aunts and uncle. Glad they're here. I have a few announcements before we get started. Greg told me that Jake Arnold had his surgery for his liver cancer, and he had to open him up with the scope. In fact, they got most of it, and it seems to be pretty optimistic about that. David mentioned that Dale Lewis has died, and his funeral will be tomorrow, Hardy's son at 1 o'clock. Do we have any other announcements before we get started? Do we know who the song leader is? The song leader tonight is going to be, I forgot the one. Young Sal was talking from Maverick. Yeah, you know what that? No, I know the name. Maverick, the little boy in the community that's had liver issues. I think they said he had a liver transplant last week or something. But evidently, we're saying he's back on the ventilator. We didn't make sure to keep him in our prayers. Also, with all the kids that started back to school, we need to remember them in our prayers. We have the prayer warriors. If anybody would be interested in maybe joining the prayer warriors and getting the kids where we can pray for them better, that Michelle or some of the children's church people know and we should associate with the kids. Pray for them. You got any other announcements? We'll turn it over to Ryan and do our song leader tonight. Everybody join in. Thanks for coming.
All right, our first song tonight will be "We Will Glorify and Invite Everybody to sing." Our next song will ask Gary Saul for the praise. Thank you, Lord, for loving me, and thank you, Lord, for blessing me. Thank you, Lord, for making all and saving my soul. I want to thank you, Lord, for loving me. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul. Let us all with one accord sing praises to Christ the Lord. Let us all unite in song and praise Him all day long. I want to thank you, Lord, for loving me. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul. Please reveal your will to me, so I can serve for eternity. Here's my life in every way. Take hold of it today. I want to thank you, Lord, for loving me. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul.
Heavenly Father, we give thanks tonight that we are given this opportunity to come together to hear thy word taught. We pray, Father, that each and every one of us come here tonight and be blessed to come and listen to thy word. Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you for the love, mercy, and grace you bestow on us. We're grateful, Father, for the blessings we have through your Son, Christ Jesus. Father, we pray that you would continue to bless and guide this congregation, that you would be with us in all the efforts that we undertake to spread the gospel message. We pray, Father, for your strength individually, for each and every member of the church of the congregation. Father, we pray that you will bless the eldership as they lead us forward, give them wisdom, give them insight, help them to know the things that we most possible to serve you and your kingdom here in this location. Father, we pray tonight for the church the world over, all those who are trying to spread the gospel message beyond these souls here in the United States. We appreciate and love them for the work that they do. We ask that you watch over those who are away from home and working for the cause of Christ. Protect them, Father, give them much success in all that they do. Father, we pray for the brothers and sisters we have in Ukraine who are under threat. We know, Father, that they are in very difficult times and that they are having to try to stay safe. They have trouble to meet and worship. We ask, Father, that you will give them the strength for the trials that they are undergoing, that you will help keep them strong and safe through all these things, that they will be faithful to Christ. Father, we pray tonight for the children who are attending here. We ask that you bless them. Help us, Father, to be examples to them, and to lead them so that they are made that they will continue in the word and will become Christians themselves. Father, be with us in our daily life, and you also, like always, please forgive us for all things that you have done wrong. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Next song will be Amazing Grace, provided by the stand. Here in the fourth verse, our children fourth grade love will be As we mentioned tonight, we do have Kenneth Grizzell from the Greenwood Park Church of Christ. He's the pulpit preacher there. I think a lot of Kenneth enjoyed any conversation I get to have with him. I view him as a mentor, and I really love how passionately he talks about God. When he gets going and really passionate about that, you're going to want to listen. So I'm going to offer a prayer before he comes up tonight. So I invite everybody to bow. Father, we praise you for being God. We are in awe of you. We love you. We thank you for your mercy and your amazing grace. We are grateful for you being our Father, for Jesus the Son, and for the Spirit. Father, tonight we're praying specifically that you will fill Kenneth with your Spirit. We pray that you move in this room tonight. We pray that he speaks boldly to us and he just tells us who you are. Father, we pray that you will convict us and help us to grow and transform into your image. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
How's everybody tonight? So I had, everybody, I remember the part I was reading about this, but I had cataracts, whatever it is, and it has messed with my ability to look at my notes. And as good as I can, my sight's great out there, everything's reversed. So now I'm trying to figure out this on the page. Trying to figure out how to, there we go. So, computer, in case this room's not big enough, we look at my notes, and then we'll get it done somewhere better. So, I'd like to thank you for inviting me back. I'm thankful for that. It's always good to be invited back somewhere. My wife, Lord, is not able to be with me tonight. Her mother had an accident, and there was her mother at this time at our house. And I wanted to just say my appreciation to Ryan and whoever it was. I guess it's Ryan. With the team. And did such a great job. And just like last year, I was real excited about the team and what I have. I'm extremely passionate about this. I got to notice enough time to have choices. This is what I actually chose between all those topics, and it's about grace and the worldly life. One of the reasons I chose that is Texas with 15, which I relate to very much. And I like to be reminded of where I came from, I guess. And that scripture reminds me of that. So I want to, as I talk about this topic, I want to just, as a reminder of where I came from and how utterly dependent I am on the grace of God. This past week, just kind of in keeping with that, I had a friend of mine from high school who just happened to drop by the office, and he lives in Westmoreland, Tennessee now. I'm from Winchester, Tennessee originally, which is quite a bit down up above Huntsville, Alabama, but he just dropped by, happened to be at Home Depot, which is right next to our church building. And he basically dropped by because he just was at that point in life, he had a heart attack and he died forward. And Ken's right here, I want to come by and say hey to him and talk to him a little bit. We reminisced, we put up with each other for one semester, lived with roommates, that's all we could blast as roommates, but that's probably my part because I had several different roommates. I don't even remember all my roommates I had with me. But as we were talking, it reminded me of some things. I mean, he was the son of a preacher at a smaller church in the county, in the same county that I lived in, and he had always been very focused and just really true to the word. And I started out that way. I was baptized when I was 11, and early on I was called to ministry. I had the opportunity. I was at church where we had the opportunity to use our gifts and develop our gifts, I guess is a better way to put it. I always had certain gifts, And I remember my first sermon was on we'd taken the Beatitudes, and there were 4 or 5 of us, and my topic was blessed are the meek. And it turned out we went to a small place in Moore County, Tennessee. Moore County stands for Grizzell, stands for Jack Daniels, but that wasn't the church, don't worry. But I mean, I'm just telling you, give you a little perspective there where it was. And it turned out to be a little small church in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know if she was there, but my wife, who was later to become my wife's grandfather, was an elder there and led the singing. And was one of the first persons to encourage me in ministry. Later on, I found out she has actually lived in Nashville, which is 80 miles away, and just one of the small little things that I actually went through the deal and preached. I talked about blessed me. And I knew I was called to a minister because everybody was given 3 to 5 minutes, and I took 9. All right, so I knew that I had to call. Even another guy who's also a preacher somewhere around Hendersonville, he took 8. So, we were the ones, everybody else took a minute and a half. It was all right, all equalized because the other guys were short in their part, but we were meant to talk a little bit longer. But
That's a big giveaway.
that's a big giveaway, yes, sir. That's what I need. So I had opportunities. The church, we went to Scottsville, Alabama, to a small church there. We went to Stevenson in Alabama. We were all kinds of places that we went to. We were blessed to have once a month. We were able to do the worship on Sunday night, and I loved it and felt called to ministry early on, and was kind of on track for that, if you will. I remember loving the Word of God and studying the Word and getting into that. And some things happened in the church when I was at that very impressionable age, that age of 16 or so. And, up to that point, I'd say very thankful, but I just got a bad attitude. I'm like, if these was somebody else older and kind of the brunt of what was going on, and kind of hard to work with that and being treated that way and seeing some of the people that I've known with. And so, some things that I've never been tempted by before, I was tempted by. And went on a different course. 17, 18, my first 2 years of this one, I was not on track to be a preacher. Not at all what I wanted to do with my life. It was interesting, though, that during all that time that I was rebelling, and I have no reason to say all the things I was doing, I was not living the way I needed to live, that it was interesting how God never let go. At night, I would pray on every night. There were some nights that my roommates, when I got off campus, was really in tears because I didn't really want to live that way, but it was just like, but I didn't want to be a part of and make excuses, hypocrisy and all that, trying to equate church with us humans that aren't true. So there was a particular time when I got to 3 or 4 years, and I drove to Tennessee fan for Richmond. I'm from Tennessee. Where am I supposed to visit? We had season tickets to Tennessee football games. A friend of mine from Nashville, went to the Tennessee Kentucky game. This will be relevant to all the Kentucky fans here. In 1984, it was the last time before they beat them since. There was a lot of years between Kentucky beating Tennessee and Kentucky winning, like 30 years. It was the time. I'll remember it. It was the last time because it was that time when Kentucky beat them. My friend had a brand new 280Z yellow state trooper magnet, 280Z stick shift and all that. We were drinking the whole way in the car. And I don't even hardly remember the game other than what we did the game. I remember thinking, saying, I do remember looking at the scoreboard and seeing it, and I said, no, we lost it. And then the way back, my friend was really, and I had to go. Now, I grew up, well, that was a banker, but we had a farm, and that was my job at the farm. And we did have one of those community trucks, old community trucks, where we were stuck in the, so I never really driven a stick, if you will. It's a powerful machine, it's good, I had to drive. And I was very much under the influence still, and I don't remember hardly anything except for one thing I do remember. If you've ever driven between Knoxville and Nashville, I remember in Crossville, in the mountains, in the hills, the fog was always there, and I was being in the fog. I remember a cold sweat over my body, holding on to everything I had, steering wheel, praying to get this thing home sometime. And literally, I was just telling you this is the way it was. The next morning, I woke up in my apartment in Nashville, looked out the window, there's the car, no dents, no keys. I literally couldn't remember anything. 6 o'clock, it was still good, 2 hours or so, not more than that. And in that moment, I fell to my knees, and I said, all right, I'm not running. And this is what you call me. I know this is what I want with the deep inside. I'm yours. There's just no other way that I got here. I don't have any clue how that car sitting there, or how, maybe not even knowing how to drive this thing, got this way. And I just thank you for your mercy. I thank you for your loving kindness. I thank you for your slow labor and abounding in love, as the scriptures say. And not that I haven't sinned since then. I've sinned quite a bit since then, honestly, but I have not looked back. So that's kind of my story. This is a lot of people that know of how I got back into the calling, which, as I said early on in life, I certainly felt the pull to be against it. And so this story truly relates to me because it has, I would say, that the 3.5 years, 4 years, whatever it was, it's not all bad, because there have been some good things that come as a result of that. One good thing that's come as a result of that is that I am not shocked when people come to me and tell me about sins, which does wonders for being able to have someone that trusts you or talk to you about what you're doing and what you're doing. That's been a good thing. Another good thing that's come from it is that I am daily reminded when someone does come to me that I'm exactly like you, but for the grace. And so it's not like I have a lot of issues, but judgment and condemnation and self-righteousness are not good. I can confidently say they're not good. And a lot of it's because and I'm not saying obviously you don't have to go through something like that or that way, but that's how God's used it in a positive way. It's also a way where people, especially when they come to me and talk to me, you guys are Christians, I just told you, they tell me the big difference when I look down. Can you hear me? All right. So that's kind of how this story relates to me. There's a lot of ways I feel like a prodigal because I had everything. My dad was in the church. I go back generations to the rest. I could probably go back as far as some even before Alexander Campbell on my mom's side, or my connection with the Restoration movement, and my dad's side was kind of split on that. But my great uncle was Joe Sanders, who taught at Lipscomb for years and years. He preached around all these areas here, and then my advantage as far as I never lacked for anything at any point in my life, but I made a choice. And I can blame it on the situation, and blame it on the people who do it. Blame it on other people, blame it on the people around me, but the choice that I made drove me in that direction. And so I'm thankful that God brought me to that point, and that God's mercy was great on me. So let's just look at the scripture. We're in Luke 15, and I think if we're going to look at Luke 15, we have to look at the context. The whole chapter is the context, pretty much, because if you're going to look at the story of the prodigal son, where did he tell the story? It's a big deal when we told the story. I can blow my pages here. Yeah, there you go. Luke 15, you get it raw, it's real with me, okay? So you can see my notes or anything. Luke 15. Now, a tax collector and sinners were all drawing near to hear him. And the Pharisees and the scribes grumbled, saying, "This man receives sinners and eats with them." So let's start with those two verses. That's the context, pretty much. If tax collectors and sinners were gathering around to hear Jesus, but the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered. I like that idea, muttered. I'm kind of thinking about the word that's translated muttered, it's translated that they're just speaking under their breath. They're just, sinners, look, they talk. It doesn't happen at this church, I'm sure, but other churches I've been at, there's some muttering that goes on every once in a while. People, that whatever it might be. What I saw, so. Or people come to the elders a lot of times and they'll say things like, there are a lot of people who are worried about this. And I always like it a lot of people say. Nothing has paralyzed churches more than a lot of people say. It could be one, or it could be a lot of people. A lot of times, a lot of people means 3 or 4 people talking about it, or whatever. It could be that's the way I feel, and people do that. So they're kind of muttering and saying, he speaks with tax collectors. Here he is with sinners. He's spending time with sinners and tax collectors. And so I believe it's significant that Jesus, very significant, that when we look at Jesus' life, Jesus attracted sinners, and the Pharisees were filthy. Jesus attracted sinners. Lost sinners came to Jesus. They were gathered around his house. And I often wondered, why are the lost not drawn to the church? If we were the name of Christ, why are the lost not? They're drawn to him. Why are they not drawn to the church? Why were they drawn to Jesus? It wasn't because he catered to them. It wasn't because he compromised his message. But because I think it was because they knew he genuinely cared. And unfortunately, and it's been that way throughout the years, it is not the norm for people of the world to feel like the people in the church are believers, or here to be the Jewish people care. Right or wrong, for whatever reason, many times they feel judged, and just to be in their presence, they feel like that's what's happening. So he didn't cater to it at all. And he understood their needs and tried to help them. And maybe this is the key. While the Pharisees were all about staying away. The Pharisees were all about, that was a big claim about it. They were all about staying away from the publicans and weren't they? Because that was always the rub. They were saying, he eats, he drinks, he spends time with publicans and sinners. I can remember growing up in church, I can remember discussions sometimes about that. Shows my age a little bit, some of you will appreciate this. But I remember now, alcohol started everywhere. So if you're not going to go someplace that serves alcohol, you can't go to Cracker Barrel anymore, But I remember having a discussion with somebody that came into our town and was like, you go there because they serve. That's always, we were always talking about, it wasn't just a matter of not doing things, that we wanted to be in the presence of those things, which is not much different. It makes you wonder, how can you reach people if you're not going to be where they can be, where you spend time with them and get to know them. And that's where I want to tell a story. It kind of brought this to life in my life. I like to tell stories, especially people that have heard Larry back there, Vivian, and Lydia. They've all heard my stories, probably. They've all heard all these. But when I was at the age of 24, 1988, we lived in Dayton, Ohio, and I served as youth minister at church there. We were expecting our first child. And my salary of $20,000 a year, you call that salary $20,000 a year, I thought it was awesome. I had a two at the time. I thought it was wonderful. I've never had anything like that before. It wasn't going to cut it for this child. So I asked the elders if I could, if they wanted to get another job to work for them. So I got this job that shows where I am age. Got this job with this new phone company called US Sprint, marketing. And so my job was to go to Chicago, and I was going to find out, go to the plane on Monday morning. But on Friday, before that Monday morning, there was a significant event that happened in Dayton. And the Dayton Daily News paper was run by a Christian, very respected man there in town. He was the editor. And he got fired by the Cox News Service, News Services because he refused to run a classified ad in the paper for a homosexual group called for AIDS awareness. It was just a AIDS awareness meeting. It wasn't pro anything. It was an AIDS awareness meeting, and I said it's for homosexuals. It was for AIDS awareness. It wasn't even about that. It was just about AIDS awareness. And he refused to run the ad. Even though the ad was classified, you can still read the paper. It was a very small classified, literally a little square. And so he was fired, which seems kind of over the top. He said, hey, run the ad or try it and see what happened. But he, that was the only agenda for the meeting. And so the Christian community in Dayton was in an outlet. And they started picketing the daily meeting. And there were some really ugly things that were put on the posters. And it was embarrassing. I'm just telling you the truth. It was embarrassing. And I spent the entire Saturday that day looking at scriptures and asking that famous question: what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Because I just really didn't know, and I knew that all of our youth were seeing this, and the next morning I had to teach them, how do I handle this? Because they're going to ask about it, how do I handle it? And this wasn't even about, it was just about the way people were reacting to it. And so, and at that time, by the way, HIV, virus, and AIDS was a new thing. And everybody was wondering what was going on in our life. And so I started thinking, what would he do? Would he really, if Jesus was the editor of that newspaper, what would he have done? And so when he made a big deal about this little bitty classified ad, especially, this is what the rest of the story you need to know, especially considering that Sunday, Saturday edition, well, it doesn't matter which day, I think it's Saturday, edition of the Dayton Daily News had an entire section, about 10 pages worth, with advertisements. Some of them very large advertisements, not the little bitty classified, with almost nothing less than the imagination of escort services and strip clubs and triple X theaters. And I heard nothing. You don't let things go to quickly. There's no fact. And here was an ad, it didn't have any graphics or any pictures that you would choose to run. So it seemed like kind of a hypocritical thing. But it was a powerful moment for me as I looked and I thought about it, and I felt confirmation of the Spirit in me as I read about read more and more about Jesus' life and this scripture and some other scriptures like that. So I thought the determination that I had made is I thought, well, I think his editor is just a little classified, and he would have run that, and probably he would have been activated. Not to condone anything about a lifestyle, but because this is lost people, and lost people were living together there. And maybe we know that he's the way, the truth, and the life. One thing we see about Jesus is he does not stay away from sinners. First of all, that's all we've got to go to. But he would have been there in the presence. So I was like, this is a great teaching. I'm telling kids what to think. We're just going to go through the same scripture that I want to. We're going to ask a question and let's find out what it is. But what they do. So we go to the class on the best class we ever had. Unanimous. I've been saying the word, I've just read every single child. Well, this is an opportunity. We need to have the opportunity to actually talk to people about it. That's the opportunity. And so it just happened that Sunday night was my once a month opportunity to preach. And that once a month. Why is that? To preach on the findings of the class. So I was very excited about it. I thought when I was with it, everybody would say hallelujah, amen, praise the Lord, and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know that day that one of the elders' wives had gone on campaign, basically working people up against their own husband and the other elders, saying, why in the world is he being there? We're not out there on the front line holding the signs right there with the signs. That's what we should do. If you're out, stand up. Hey, you want to preach. I think for elders, maybe the elders like to use it. And I say what I said. Let's just put it this way. I'll put it this way. To go crossways with an elder is one thing from me. There's one thing worse. You go crossways with an elder's wife, you are trouble. You're trouble. I'm sorry, that was not. But in this case, it was just a little war. And so I was just thankful that I had to drive 4.5 hours to Chicago that time. I was thankful. I was more thankful than I'm thankful now. Good thing we didn't have cell phones yet. That was all I could do in the whole way. I remember the whole way there, walking in the house. I didn't turn the radio. And the next morning I was hungry. In Chicago, Midwest region, training for this. And God says, okay, the truth that God's in Indiana. They let us out for lunch. It seems like every conference in the world was right there in that hotel that we were in. Everybody let out for lunch at the same time, and we moved to another place to go in 45 minutes. We could find a place in a short time we had no lunch to go to lunch. So we met, we decided we went to this bar, but when I said, you guys serve food. Yeah, they was opening up. So we got up there, they served food, brought meal before, Coca-Cola, they were doing some egg sandwich. And the guy said, good food, you're a minister on the side, right? For whatever reason, because I was this was also in my heart, I went on to Kenneth and went preaching. I was going to be asking questions about it, but I started talking about Jesus. I started talking about Jesus being a friend of sinners, and Jesus, how sometimes in the church we haven't represented Jesus well, and that Jesus was one who talked about the Samaritan woman as well. I talked about all these different stories in Jesus' life, and how he was one who had conversations, and it was I was on fire. I felt like a lot of these God was speaking to me in a way that he never had before. And as I was telling all these things, when I looked up, I saw, well, first of all, there was a person asking a question. I don't know, 10, 15 minutes I was on. It was a woman. It's just me and God. And I looked. To this day, when you look at about it, there were 20 or 30 people holding their burdens, standing around us. Listen. To the point that they're asking questions. I'm sitting here having a Bible study. I didn't even know it was there. They're asking questions. Every single one of them, man. I just go on and I continue to talk. And I talk about what it means for Jesus to be a friend of sinners, and that he really was. And it wasn't just a charge that they made against him. He really was. I talk about how that when Jesus went to Matthew's house, where all the prostitutes and tax collectors and sinners were, and didn't point his finger or preach at him, instead he told the story of what I'm about to read, the lost sheep and the lost son and the lost coin. And in that very relevant moment in place, I talked about how that Jesus being moved with compassion for sinners, he encountered at Matthew's house while everybody else was trying to get rid of him. He was moved with compassion. He saw the sheep without a shepherd and saying, Lord, actually going to harvest to send forth workers. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Jesus saw that, and he got energized. He saw that with the Samaritan woman, and he got energized because they need the Lord. That's who I am. Let's ask for workers. And he talked about the conversation with the adult woman and how that she went back and told all her friends and about how Jesus had little patience with the religious leaders. In fact, he called them snakes and brood of vipers. And I told them about the time that Jesus hammered them with those charges. And then he turned around to the sinners and the outcasts. He says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened and need rest, and I will give you rest. My yoke is easy, my burden is light." And he tells all these things to them. And it was just amazing that people stayed. And there's about 45 of us that missed our afternoon session. That we talked about that. And it was like the whole time I was feeling this confirmation from the Lord. It's the mission. He just came to seek and save the lost. He just came that they might know that it's the physicians, it's the sick that need a physician, not those that are well. And we continued talking, and I've never felt a confirmation from the Lord as great. And in fact, I decided then what I'm going to do. I want to plant a church. I want to go somewhere. I just want to start from scratch. I just want to go with highlighting Bible. Of course, that's not really what God is doing. So, but I experienced in that moment, that day, I feel the heart of what Jesus was about in reading this thing. So verse 3 it says, "So he told them this parable. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the one that's lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulder, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and his neighbors, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost.' And just so, I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance." If I was going to title this lesson, in fact, one of my first lessons that grew apart was the value of one. What we see through Jesus' life is the value of one. It tells us that God so loved the world and he so loved the one. Not just the world, but the one. God demonstrated his love for us in this, that while we're still sinners, Christ died for us. God demonstrated his love for us in this, that for the one, he was willing to do this. So Jesus' attitude in his life is, I'm here to seek and save the lost. I value them. That's why I'm here. That's my mission. And Jesus also understood that every person has a story. So each of their stories relates to the way they were lost. Each of these stories in Matthew 15, these 3 stories, all relate to different ways of being lost. You know, people in different ways they're lost. Some people are lost where their life they simply have no plan for life, they have no direction, and they just go with the flow, and the flow takes them out until they're out on a raft of their own, and they find themselves in the middle of the ocean, and they have to die here, and they certainly don't have to die. Some people are lost because they just they're aimless. A lot of our world, they're aimless. They have no purpose or no mission in life, and so they just follow what the crowd says, what the majority says, and many people are there because they have no plan. One day, they don't know how they got there. They don't know how to get back. Jesus said, I came to seek and save that the lost. And he understood that name calling wasn't going to accomplish anything. Putting everybody in the same boat was not going to accomplish anything. Stating the obvious about the situation that they were in is not going to do anything. They need saving. They're lost. And Jesus is the only way. He's the only truth. He's the only life. And then Jesus is around in Matthew 9, great place. It says, when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them. He had compassion on them. That word compassion, literally means to be moved in a bow. The thing is, well, you just got to say it the way it is. It moved him. Because they were harassed and helpless. I mean, he's the creator. He knows what they're created for, and he sees where they are. And so if he sees it as harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd, then he said to the disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of harvest to send out workers in his harvest. So, enough judges, enough self-righteous, religious people, you know what we need? Ask the Lord of harvest for some workers. That's what we need. Ask the Lord of harvest for some people that see people like God sees. There are foolish wonders all over the place. People just going with what the crowd says. Right now, do you agree that we're in an unprecedented time? Everybody's in the first. It seems like so few that know what's going on. There's never been a better time, in my opinion, for the light to be distributed in the lives. There's never been a time when so many people are trying so many things and have no hope. It's a great time for people that have hope, the hope of the world, the light of the world, to shine. Show the way, show that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. But to do that, we've got to ask for a different movement. Chuck Smith was, I don't know if you remember back in the day, a hippie movement kind of changed into what became the Jesus movement. And one of the reasons why it was a guy named Chuck Smith, who got Costa Mesa, California, who were just in the Bible and talked to a lot of people. A lot of them became Christians. You know, Jesus People, Time Magazine, still up there. For a few times that they actually covered a movement like that. One day they had 2,000 people that were being baptized in Newport Beach. Smith tells about taking video to show some other churches to get some support for the work he was doing to try to reach out to the quote hippies. And the first thing he said is, when they went to the haircut. That's all they cared about. When they going to get their hair? 200,000 people getting baptized, and they're like, when are they going to get their haircut? It's like, you want heaven, because they're in a little rejoicing. We see more rejoicing over the wings than we see. It's God's rejoicing. Okay, verse 8. And there was a woman that having 10 silver coins, or what woman having 10 silver coins, excuse me, if she loses one coin, does not light a lamp and sweep the house and seek diligently until she finds it. And when she's found it, she calls together her friends and neighbors, saying, rejoice with me, for I have found the one that I lost. Just so I tell you that there is joy before the angels of God over one sinner to repent. So some are lost because they just kind of go with the flow. Some people are lost because of what others have done. There are people that are lost because they refuse to take them down a path. Some that are lost because they were molested at a young age or had abusive parents. So many lost because of the sins of others. And today they're angry, they're bitter. Have you ever seen as much anger and bitterness as people have today? It's everywhere. You know, people want to fight for their rights, but there's no joy whatsoever. The joy comes from the Lord. There's a reason that the person that you work with is so full of bitterness and rage, and there's a reason that they cuss like a sailor, and there's a reason that they do the evil things that they do. The difference in Jesus' attitude toward this person and many religious folks is that when he looked at them, he saw them lost. He saw them lost and leaving us. You also have the ability, I think, to see the story behind what's put with them. Because they great value in one, in every one. God values that people over the situation. Jesus will love us, and the work that he'll do to seek out the one. If we look at this part of the story, he sweeps. The saving, he'll sweep, he'll search carefully, he'll pick up, and he'll rejoice. Why is Jesus associated with sinners? Because God naturally wants to recover the things that are lost. Just like this woman wants to recover a coin. And we should stop at nothing. This is my favorite thing in the scripture. It's in verse 7 and it's in verse 10. It's where it says there is rejoicing. I love the way it's worded. I tell you, there is joy before the angels of God over one sinner who repents. There's rejoicing over one sinner who repents. In the presence of the angels, before the angels. Who's doing the rejoicing? The Father himself is doing the rejoicing. God himself is leading the cheers when someone comes and provokes them. Because that's why he sent his son. That's the whole story. That's why Jesus, the Word, became flesh and lived and died for us so that we could be restored in the relationship he's called. Let's get to the story. I'm not going to spend much time on the story. I'm not going that far all the time. That's why I'm going to let you guys have it back. The story speaks for itself. And he's proof on that. And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of my property that is coming to me. And divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had, took a journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in reckless living. And when he spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country and began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his field to feed pigs. And he was longing to be fed at the pods of the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. Oh, that's what the world does. That's what Satan does. He entices people. He entices people in his counterfeit. God alone knows love. Satan has offered all kinds of counterfeit things out there that are not permanent, that we call love. And that's what we're seeing everybody fighting over. We see people angry and without contentment and bitter because it's not love. It's Satan's counterfeit. Satan entices us, entices people to come deeper into the tricks that he's offering. And then when we find themselves in trouble, no one. And that's why Jesus came to show us how to do it. He didn't just come to do it. He came to show us how to do it. Because he knew. He saw them, loved them. There's the story. When he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I've perished here with hunger? I'll arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he rose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion and ran and embraced him and kissed him. I love that image of the Father. I am one that feels like that I have experienced the Father in that way. Really, all of us have. You don't have to be out in the far country squandering with it. The reality is, there's no one righteous, not even one. Christ died for all of us. Read the book of Romans, which we're doing in the church right now. The book of Romans will lay it out there. In chapter 1, you see that there's a lot of the world trying to, and I don't want you to misunderstand the story I told about classifying article or anything. It is obvious what sin is. Romans 1 tells us these things are sin. Sin doesn't change. Sin has not changed. It was sin before, it's sin now. But then he gets into chapter 2, and he says, okay, all you people that are judging and condemning them, guess what? You know better than sinners. Right? Chapter 3 comes along and says, no one righteous, not even one. By the time we get out of chapter 3 of Romans, we're all ready to call our Lord God. He's done a great job of showing us. All of us. desperately we must have a Savior. So chapter 4 goes on and talks about being justified. In chapter 5 he says, God demonstrated his love for us while we listened to God. And in chapter 6 he tells us that as being baptized in Christ, put on Christ. So why would you continue to sin and grace may abound? That's kind of misunderstanding. In chapter 7, Paul comes down and he shows us that even mighty Paul was a sinner like Grizzell. Paul says, even now that I'm saved by grace, I find myself doing what I don't want to do. I want to do this, I want to live this way, I want to be this way, but I find myself doing this, I find myself doing that, I find myself doing this. And in chapter 8, there's no condemnation for the Christ. Because Christ paid the price. But all of us really are in the same boat. And not everyone is lost because they're wandering aimlessly or they stumble blind. Some have every advantage of the Son. They will please others. That's what's interesting about the story. This is not a son that just followed the crowd and was ignorant and didn't know any better and found himself on a raft in the middle of the ocean. This was a son who had everything, including his loving father, who provided his every need. And went on into a foreign land, squandered everything. He said, my father's slaves, they get to do that. Yes. He said his father's been waiting for him every day to bring you relief. Because he's still his son. Because he loved him so much. And we see such a tremendous heart of God. So he goes on a little further. He says, and bring the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this is my son who is dead, is alive again, he's lost, he's found. And they begin to celebrate. He says that the idea of giving him shoes, that's not an insignificant thing. The son says the slaves have. Slaves did not have shoes. Even in the days of our sin in this nation, slaves had a song. The slaves had a song that was, the shoes and shoes. You got to have shoes. I got shoes. All my children got shoes. When we get to heaven, we're going to put on shoes. What they're saying is, we're going to be children. He wasn't wanting to be a child. He was willing to go without shoes. He was willing to go without this. He knew that he would be treated better as a slave in his father's house than anywhere else. But his father immediately said, no, you are not a slave. You are not a slave. Every single one of us, if we're deserving of anything in God's house, it's to be a slave. But God, through Christ, makes us strangers. That we need. We are sons and daughters of God. We did that for everyone like that. Now, since verse 25, now his older son was in the field. As he came out, drew near to the house, and heard music and dancing, and called one of the servants. He asked, what's this thing mean? And he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. Now, I take it, and I can read that right, because I think they were excited about it, just like the father was. And we need to kind of ask ourselves, who am I in this story? Am I the older son who has served the way he talks? I've slaved for you. It wasn't out of love that he served his father. He served him out of religion and obligation. And he did what was coming to him. The slaves and servants, they love their father. They love their master. He said to them, your brothers come and the father killed. But he answered his father, look, these many years I have served you. I never disobeyed your command, that you never give me a young colt that I might celebrate with my friends. But with this son of yours, not even my brother, with this son of yours, this son of yours came, who devoured your property and prostitutes. You killed the fatted calf for him. And he said to him, son, you're always with me. And all this time is yours. You are spending this celebration. Be glad. For this your brother was dead, and alive. He's lost. You live in the heart of God. In verse 7 or 10, in that last verse. Our God loves us. He understands. He draws us into His presence. And several questions we ask in closing. If you're lost today, know that Jesus is your way. In this world, there's probably more people than ever before that have been lost by Christmas. The one where everybody's taking, finding themselves out there on that raft, thinking there's no hope. Suicide rate is every day. I work on the drug-free one county board, and drugs is not our main issue. Or in the United States of America. Mental health is the main issue. Children back in early elementary are starting to have problems. I don't even comprehend that. Not even knowing that's a possibility or something I was wanting. Because there's so many voices out there, so many things just trying to reach them and take away their attention. Before you know it, some at an early age find themselves out there in the open lives. And there are others, and this is an all-time high too, there are others that are that way because of the abuse going on in the home, because the abuse that someone else is doing for them. They find themselves full of anger and bitterness and fear and not know where to go. And that force of feel always going to be the one who's on their back on everything else and one day to be wrong. But there's also older brothers. I think more what some of us that go to church might be able to struggle with that whole idea. We struggle with the idea that we can be working all day long and somebody else comes along and gets the same reward after coming in at 4 o'clock at night. We struggle with that. For all of us, the desire needs to be give us a sincere heart. Don't misunderstand anything I'm saying tonight. Some people hear a message like this. My mom sometimes would say to me, "Kenneth, you know, if you want to put in grace," I love my mom. And I'll say, grace is not saying it's not a sin. Grace is people can talk. It's because of this that God's grace is given. It's the fact that He loves us and He's waiting on this to do it for us. Yes, sin is still sin. Christ can do it. He will in our lives and use us. Give us the privilege of being used by Him to bring people. He's the grace that exists. Besides it, no one besides that everyone is the Son of God. So that's my prayer that we will look at that and see if there's someone that this is in, give us the number. So maybe you need some prayer. I'm sure there's someone here that will pray. You find yourself not sitting out something somewhere might have thought, you know, that person out there that right now. I'm really, maybe I'm lost. It's grip. It's helpful. It's helping to see how God is running. But you need to find yourself in the life of Christ. About maybe they're doing your faith in Him. So it needs to be baptized with that direction. You want to stand together? Thank you for your from the source of love, may be given us all freely. Will you come to the fountain free? Will you come? There's a living stream with a crystal gleam from the throne of light that it flows. While the waters flow, let the weary soul hear the call that forth freely flows. Will you come to the fountain free? Will you come? 'Tis for you and me, thirsty soul. Hear the welcome call. 'Tis the fountain open for all. There's a marvelous land, and one soul is left that cannot its pure water share. 'Tis for you and me, and this stream I see. Let us hasten joyfully there. Will you come to the fountain free? Will you come? 'Tis for you and me, thirsty soul. Hear the welcome call. 'Tis the fountain open for all.
Again, we want to thank Kenneth for his message tonight. I always appreciate it. Feel like it's right from the heart of God, and I would encourage you all to stick around and say hello to him and express your appreciation for his message. We appreciate all those who attended our summer series. This was week 9 in our final night, so it's been a good one, and we hope to do it again next year. Do you have any announcements before we begin? If not, I'll ask Dave to lead us in a closing prayer.
Our Father in heaven, we're so thankful that we've had this time together tonight. That we can come together and study thy word and learn what you would have us to know, how you would have us to direct our lives. Father, we're so thankful for this series of Wednesday night meetings that we've had this summer and for the different speakers that we've had. We're thankful for Kenneth coming our way tonight and sharing some of his experiences with us, and especially this parable of Luke chapter 15. Father, help us to contemplate these things, to keep them in our minds, to study on them, and to help us to understand what they mean and how they apply to us in our everyday life. Father, we continue to ask our blessing on the church, wherever it might be, especially those that are trying to preach the gospel in some places where it is so difficult and sometimes even offensive. Father, we're so thankful that we have a society here in the United States of America where we can do just what we've done tonight. Father, we pray God bless us upon the church here sometime, that if you be patient with us and we don't do enough for you, we pray that we will continue to try to bring young people in, that will teach them. And Father, even though that they some come from homes that it's not very important in their life, spiritual things and you and your Son Jesus Christ, we pray that we'll teach them here and maybe they can take that message home to their parents. To praise Him like we say through His name. To those of us, Father, that have the responsibility of keeping the church safe and strong, we pray that we'll always be humble, that we will recognize our own shortcomings, and that we'll try to live close to you. We pray that you'll always keep us in your love and care. Help us to keep our eye on the target. Heaven should be more important to us than anything else in our life. We'll face one day, but we'll be few days. In Jesus' name we pray.